I welcome you all to our monthly webinar on market of essential goods in Bangladesh, the case of cooking oil. So it's a great pleasure and obviously a privilege to remain present here as the MC of this program. My name is Mohammad Kamrul Bari. I'm working here at BDRAL, the Bangladesh Rating Agency Limited, a subsidiary of Dun & Bradstreet, South Asia Middle East, as an AFVP, First Assistant Vice President at the Advisory, Research and Training Unit. Well, so it is my privilege to introduce to you all to our distinguished panelists for today's event. So I will start with Mr. Masood Khan. Mr. Masood Khan is the chairman of Unilever Consumer Care. It used to be GSK earlier on. He is also the chief advisor at the board of Crown Cement. And he has 41 years of experience, specifically in the field of finance. He worked as a CFO at Lafarge Wholesale Limited, sorry. And he was also in the finance, in overall management of finance at BAT, or British American Tobacco. And he is also an independent director at Berger Paint, at Singa, and a community bank, also in many other organizations. He wrote many articles on industry and professional issues, and those are continuously being published and featured at different local newspapers as well as national and international magazines. He completed his bachelor degree from St. Xavier's College under University of Kolkata. And he is a qualified CA and CMA from Indian Institutes, and he completed both the qualifications with distinction. And he is a silver medalist. He was actually the silver medalist, I must say, which is an extremely rare, I must say, the merit that he has actually shown at the all India level, specifically in the CA exams. And welcome, sir. It's our pleasure. It's our privilege that you are among us. So we'll be enlightened, and also we will be getting high quality insights and inputs from your participation today. So welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Our second panelist is Mr. Nazmul Haidar Khan, FCMA. So Mr. Nazmul Haidar Khan is currently working as the CEO and the co-founder of Plutus Consulting. He is a visionary strategic finance professional and also a corporate leader with approximately 30 plus years of experience. And he has expertise in areas like corporate finance, then strategic management, and supply chain optimization as well. He worked with several multinational companies, and his specialty, another specialty is basically to coach and mentor individuals. So he guided many individuals to their successes so that they can actually, you see, like utilize their full potential. So we are enlightened that we are here also to get an opportunity to directly get mentored by and also get guidance on this particular topic of interest of many people, many individuals, and also all of us from Nazmul Haidar FCMA. And he actually worked with many multinational companies in from Asia Pacific region, Canada, and also USA. Our third panelist is Professor Dr. Sanjoy Kumar Saha. Professor Dr. Sanjoy Kumar Saha is an economic professor at the Maulana Bhashani Science and Technology University, Tangai. He completed his bachelor and master's degree from Islamic University of Kushtia. He had also another MS from University of Namur from Belgium, and he completed that back in 2013. Sir is also working as the Dean of Faculty of Social Sciences at the same university. And he had several research and publications on specialist on the area of specialization, such as he is a specialist actually, as we all know, from the academia, and he basically maintains a collaboration with government, academia, and also the industry. He works in areas such as remittance, labor market, and women empowerment, and also in areas such as gender budget, then food security, etc. So obviously, which is very relevant to today's topic. He also worked with economic policy modeling, which is a government-funded project of South Korea. And today's keynote speaker is Aisha Unasis Ridi. She is a senior rating analyst at the Bangladesh Rating Agency Limited. She holds an ACCA degree. She is an associate chartered certified accountant from ACCA, and she completed her graduation from Oxford Brookes University in applied accounting. And she has 8 years of experience as analysts at different organizations. So I must welcome all the panelists, and also I'm welcoming the keynote speaker for sharing your valuable insights with us. And without any further ado, I'm actually handing out the responsibility to our moderator today, Dr. Syed A. Mamoon, FCMA, FCRS, and who is also the CEO of BDRL. Mamoon Bhai, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kamrul Bari, for your humble introduction. And again, welcome all of you to today's program. And this is the regular webinar program organized by the Bangladesh Rating Agency as a Dun & Bradstreet company, with a commitment that we want to create a platform where we can discuss the contemporary economic and business issues, so that we can deepen our understanding and also interact with industry. In addition, if we can find any policy recommendation from the learned panelist and discussion, then it will be the ultimate benefit for this program as well. And we may draw the attention of the policymakers as well to fixing those policy issues, so that we can contribute in improving the business and economic environment of Bangladesh. So in this case, at this level, I'd like to take the privilege to introduce the BDRL. Can you see my screen? Ridi, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the Bangladesh Rating Agency, in fact, is a subsidiary of the Dun & Bradstreet South Asia Middle East Limited. It's a global American company. And BDRL has been incorporated in Bangladesh in 2008, which has been licensed from BSEC and accredited as ICAI from Bangladesh Bank, the Central Bank of Bangladesh. And we have already done more than 40,000 SME rating and more than 350 corporate ratings. In addition, we have the different consultancy engagement and research engagement, through which we are also trying to add value to the local corporate as well as business entities for their smoothing their business activities. And our local partners, who are all renowned financial institutions in Bangladesh, including the BRAC Bank, IDLC Finance, Mutual Trust Bank, Eastern Bank Limited, National Bank Limited, Southeast Bank, NCC Bank, Bank Asia Limited, and Delta BRAC House Finance Limited. So in one word, that this is the initiatives of financial institutions as well as a global company to help the local company and to contribute in the local company to grow in a sustainable way. And the parent company about Dun & Bradstreet, this is established in 1984. It's an almost 200 years global company, which is listed in New York Stock Exchange. And we have more than 500 million business database, data of the more than 500 million business entities information. And almost 90% of the Fortune 500 company uses the DNB data. And its legacy is very rich. And for a company is sustaining for last 200 years with its very rich legacy and like prudent business process, as well as is transparency in the governance. So here we can see that 4 ex-US president were also ex-employee of the Dun & Bradstreet. And Dun & Bradstreet South Asia, Middle East looks after the 67 markets operation. Out of these, 6 are South Asia, Middle East 11, and Africa 50. And his service lines are that, like Dun & Bradstreet, SAM provides the risk management solution, credit rating agency like BDRL, credit bureau solution, sales and marketing solution, economic analysis group. Like Dun & Bradstreet has one of the flagship analysis, that's a country risk analysis, and research and advisory services, and financial technology solution as well. And BDRL has exclusive focus on the credit rating. BDRL engage in the different corporate credit ratings, bond and instrumental credit rating, as well as like government enterprises and SME rating as well. And it provides also advisory services, including industry analysis, due diligence, management advisory services, ESG advisory services. And we have the regular publications of Business Bulletin, SME Bangladesh series, and different impact analysis report. And we also regularly conduct the training program for the internal as well as the external like business professionals. And BDRL credit rating provides independent opinion. We try to give that unbiased opinion, and rating analysis by internationally trained analysts, and insights for financial strategy. We not only give the rating grade only, but also we try to demonstrate the insights in our credit rating report so that it can be used as the input of the financial strategy for our clients. It provides inputs for business decision making as well, so that those inputs can be used ultimately for taking their business decision from like time to time. And business strategy analysis, we also provide the analysis, like business analysis we incorporate in our report that may help to rethink about the strategy of the company as well. And the uniqueness of the BDRL in the Bangladesh market, that is a only global subsidiary company in Bangladesh conducting the credit rating for the local companies, and highly qualified and international trained human resources. Our analysts are the Moody's trained, as a robust credit rating methodology. Our methodology is robust and continuously improved considering the contemporary risks of the local as well as the global economic context. And our independent research team involved in the continuous research on economic and business. And our global research team is also one of our advantages for taking the wider perspectives of the local and the global business understanding. And countrywide business network, we can help the clients to give the supports from outside of the Dhaka as well, because Bangladesh is diversifying. It's marginal economy is also contributing a lot due to the infrastructure development day by day. And our ultimate target is to find the truth from the data. We use data for analyzing and to drive the report and rating, but we want to find the ultimate truth from the data so that we can create the better insights as the input for the better business decision making, which ultimately drive the better business growth. And our overall objective is to contribute in a way that with the credible credit rating, so that the particular client and business entity as well as an economy can achieve their sustainable growth. And welcome again to all of you of today's monthly webinar, that is the market of the essential goods in Bangladesh, our particular focus on the cooking oil. As we all know that like essential goods and is like stability are significantly and widely affected that more than 160 million people in our country. So Ramadan is especially is a context where these essential goods are always prone to the risks to be unstable. So from that point of view, we have chosen of today's topic to understand deeply, to listen from our experts about different drivers and the dynamics of the cooking oil market. So at this level, may I request Riddhi for presenting the concept paper. Your time is 15 minutes. Yeah, Riddhi.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, Riddhi.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay, is my slides visible?
Yeah, Riddhi.
Okay, let's start. Okay, Assalamu alaikum all and good morning. Thank you for joining us. First, I would like to convey my regards to our Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Mamoon sir, for giving me this opportunity. As we all know, today's topics for this webinar is the market of essential goods in Bangladesh, the case of cooking oil. And this is my overview of my keynote. Let's start with a brief history of oil. Humans started using oil in 25,000 BC when they discovered the fire. So with discovering fire, human uses starting using oil, and meanwhile, gradually it's spread through the whole globe. Like the Japanese and Chinese created soy oil in 2000 BC, and 4000 BC, South European started using olive oil, while the North American and Mexican using peanut oil, and African used palm oil. The modern time cooking oil journey started in 1600s by inventing stamper press, and gradually the innovation with the technology and others. In 1876, screw press was invented, and later it was gently developed continuous systems, and that sprayed with material with solvent. And today, solvent extraction is standard in the vegetable oil industry. This is the global scenario of cooking oil. Approximately the market size as revenue-wise is 109.70 billion USD. And the total production for 2021 to 2022 was 208.8 million metric ton, and the consumption was 204.17 million metric ton. As you can see, the production by type and the consumption by type, the palm oil is mostly produced and consumed oil all over the globe, followed by soybean oil. And where these oils come from? It comes from the oil seeds. Though I said the palm oil is mostly used and mostly produced, but the soybean oil seed is most produced type of oil seed in the world. As you can see, the soybean is produced 388.01 metric ton in millions, while the palm is only 19.87 metric ton. In the country-wise, soybean oils and mostly produced in Brazil, followed by United States, while the palm oil produced in Asia, like Indonesia and Malaysia. And let's talk about the international trade type of the business. The total export volume is 86.91 million metric ton, while the total import volume is 82.98 million metric ton. Indonesia and Malaysia export 90% of total palm oil, And soybean is mostly exported by Argentina, around 44% of total export. But the sunflower is exported by Russia and Ukraine. Canola is exported by Canada. As you see, around 80% of total export is controlled by 6 countries in the world. Like I said, palm oil by Indonesia and Malaysia, soybean by Argentina, sun oil by Russia and Ukraine, and canola by Canada. And while as per the import, India imports most of the oil, around 20% of total imported oil, and followed by China, 12% of total oil. Now let's talk about the pricing, most exciting part of this oil market. Like cooking oil industry, as per FAO, the oil price index dropped for the 3rd consecutive month from January, and marking the lowest level since the beginning of 2021. And the reason behind is the dropped price of the oil seeds. As we can see, palm oil price dropped mostly because of the slow global import demand, and soy oil price dropped because of softened purchase from key important countries. Plus, South America is expected to grow more soybean seeds. As per the sunflower oil and canola oil, the price dropped because of sufficient global availability. And in case of sunflower oil, the decline because of the decreased purchase throughout the world and the recent earthquake in Turkey. So let's come back to our country, Bangladesh. As we can see, gradually the consumption of the oil grew, and currently the annual consumption is 2 million tons. And the mostly consumed oil in Bangladesh is soybean oil and palm oil. And this is the supply chain of Bangladesh. Like local, mostly Bangladesh cooking oil market is import based. Out of 2 million consumption, only 0.2 million is locally produced, and 1.8 million is import from others, rest of the world. Like soybean oil is produced 0.13 million, where the soybean oil import, we import soybean oil from 0.75 million as an oil form and 2.70 million as soybean oil seed form. And there are 86 registered cooking oil manufacturer and refinery in our country, with annual refining capacity of 3.5 million metric ton. The notable manufacturer or refiner are like City Group, Bangladesh Edible Oil, TK Group, Bosundhara Group, and Mega Group, and so on. From this cooking oil manufacturer and refinery, merchants collect the oil and distribute it throughout the whole country to the customers, to the consumers, and we get the oil from the merchants. And this is the import source of Bangladesh cooking oil. As you can see, we import 78% of palm oil from Indonesia and 73% of soybean oil from Argentina. This is the pricing scenario of Bangladesh cooking oil industry. Like we can see, the soybean oil price increased despite the global oil price, soybean oil price decreased. As you can see, for the last 1 year, it was 150 taka per liter in January 2022, which increased in 190 in March 2023. Though in the meantime, in October, it decreased to 178. On the other hand, the palm oil in the palm oil market is slightly decreased, fluctuating. Like in January 2022, it was 146 taka per liter, which is 127 in February 2023. The possible risk factor for fluctuating price in Bangladesh market is mostly, as I say, the global market price. As we are import-based business, so disruption in the supply can cause price fluctuation. Plus, that's fluctuating exchange rates may have impact in the pricing in Bangladeshi cooking oil. Plus, market monitoring and price fixation by government also have an impact in cooking oil market. Here is some alternative sources of cooking oil. As you can see, we are an import-based business, but there is a possibility that we may become a self-sufficient have a self-sufficient cooking oil industry if we change our consumption habits. Like there are some potential alternative cooking oil, like rice bran oil, mustard oil, sunflower oil, perla oil. As we have already 20 rice bran oil manufacturers in our country with 0.25 million tons of capacity. Though it's currently it's very low, but it's increasing day by day. Plus, it is expected that mustard oil demand is estimated to grow 5.7% by 2027 as our consumption habit is changing. We have already the local seed production in our country, like we have total 1.25 million tons of local oil seed production in our country, mostly from mustards and followed by peanuts, soybean, sunflower, and others are like perilla oil. So this is a chance that we can change our market scenario by changing our consumption habits and promoting this alternative cooking oil in the market. So that's my concept paper. Thank you.
Thank you, Riddhi, for your nice presentation covering the key issues. So at this level, it is my privilege to listen from our panelists. So at this stage, may I request Masood sir. So sir, as we have seen from that concept paper, you also aware about that cooking oil is one of the most widely used essential goods by all the people in Bangladesh, but it's a 95%, around more than 95%, we need to import it. Means we are substantially depends on the global market. And from the concept note, another point we found that it is very much concentrated to only 6 countries. And out of that, we significantly depends on 2 countries. So our supply side is very much concentrated and also linked with the global supply chain. So as a result, very frequently we found our market, our local market is very sensitive with the situation or the stability of the global supply chain of the cooking oil market. So in these cases, what are the measures or initiatives or preparation we should have from both company level, who are the ultimate retail, like a wholesaler or the refinery companies, as well as in the policy level, like as in government policy level. So what are the measures we should take or initiatives we should take to make that market more stable, considering the risks of the global supply chain, and make sure the smoother supply of cooking oil?
Thank you very much, and thank you, BDRL and Mamoon, for inviting me to this webinar. So yes, you are absolutely correct that cooking oil is a hot topic in today's context, because I mean, if I just share 1 or 2 statistics with you, Like in Bangladesh, in 2020, I think it was, the per capita consumption was around 18.4 kilograms per person, and it is growing at around 20% per month, per year, actually, in fact. So at that rate, today's per capita could be around 25 kilograms. And if I compare with USA, for example, let's say, USA's per capita consumption is 8.4 kilograms per person. So USA is 1/3 of that of Bangladesh in terms of usage of cooking oil. Why? Because they bake their products, the food, for example. What we do is that we use a lot of oil in the way we make our do a cooking, actually. So the point here is that there is no doubt that Bangladesh per capita consumption will keep on increasing every year. In fact, we are almost the same as India now. So per capita wise, I'm saying. So the demand is there, actually, in fact. And as the concept paper showed, that actually we are actually importing from a few countries, mainly Indonesia. So there is a lot of concentration as far as supply chain is concerned. And if I look at, let's say, the last 2 years, what has happened in terms of the prices, the factors that has actually caused this price increase, of course, first is the fact that the post-Ukraine war, there was a global supply disruption, and as a result of which two things happened. One is that the FOB prices went up, plus the freight is a big factor for any commodity import, whether it is cooking oil, whether it is steel, whether it is cement, clinker, for example. One of the biggest factors for bulk is freight, actually, in fact. And with the freight market fluctuates a lot based on what is the demand in China. So China's demand actually, actually influences the rest of the world as well. So we saw a huge spurt in freight prices for two reasons. One is that the oil prices went up, the bunker prices went up, and also the bareboat cost went up for the ships as well. So that was a big factor as well. In Bangladesh context, the other defining factor was the exchange rate. And we have seen how the exchange rate has moved from, in a span of 1 year, from 86 to now, let's say people are retiring LCs at 112, 113 also, although the official rate is 107, 108 actually. So this has had a huge impact as far as the FOB price is concerned. So all these factors have really led to an increase in the price. So what happens is that, if you look at it practically, whenever we have a supply side shortage, an artificial supply side shortage takes place, traders actually, they cash onto this shortage. Whenever they sense that there's some shortage coming up, in that case, they sense that there's a shortage coming up, and they have to, then they start also hoarding stocks as well. And this leads to an artificial increase in price that we have seen in Bangladesh. So apart from the FOB prices going up, apart from the freight prices going up, apart from the exchange rate, the other factor was this, artificial crisis created in some situations. So the question now is that, what do we do in this situation? I think in this situation, first of all, planning is very important, because government is seeing what are the LCs being opened on a monthly basis by importers. They know what is the consumption per month actually, and what is the consumption per year. The figures are there actually, in fact. So they should actually monitor this thing to understand that, is there a crisis coming up in the future? So this is one point. In that case, if necessary, the government should also use TCB to import as well, actually, in fact. This is point number one. Point number two is that as far as price control is concerned, again, this is a function of demand and supply, right? So we really can't control prices in that way. If you just fix, government sometimes puts price caps, but price caps never work actually, because at the end of the day, is also always a function of demand and supply. So the issue is that government has to make sure that the supply side is always there actually, in fact. And the last point that I would like to emphasize is the fact that we saw in the paper that actually the domestic production of cooking oil is coming up now, especially in rice bran oil and mustard oil. Rice bran oil, we have seen that over the years, this is picking up quite a lot because, first of all, it's got health benefits as well, and mustard oil has got health benefits as well. And we can see a tremendous potential in Bangladesh as well. I was speaking to one person just yesterday, actually, in fact, and he was telling me that the yield in terms of mustard oil production has actually gone up now. And more people are coming to mustard oil production. The government must encourage this, because if I can increase my domestic production, in that case, we stabilize the prices a lot. The more I increase the domestic production, the more the price will be stabilized. The more I import, in that case, will be the vagaries of the import duties, will be the vagaries of the FOB price, the fuel price, and the dollar prices, actually, in fact. So these are my 2 cents on this discussion. If there is any further questions, we can discuss later on. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for highlighting all aspects of the global supply chain, particularly the demand factor of the China. So at this stage, we want to listen from the internationally experienced, like global executives who work not only in Asia. He has an experience to work North America as well as in South America. So he has the in-hand experience of the global dynamic understanding. So in that case, Nazmul Bhai, we see that the global supply chain is a very critical in this case of supply as well as the pricing factor, in addition to the tax or other local market imperfections. So what about your understanding that how does the global supply chain for any essential goods or work, and what are the factors affecting the global supply chain, and particularly the cooking oil perspectives? If you share some of your experiences in this respect that you had from your own experience.
Thank you, Mamun. Thanks, BDL, for inviting me. And Mamun, you rightly said, before I came back to Bangladesh, when I was in the USA, I'm talking about 2021 end. That time, we were in the process to designing a supply chain model, and we are analyzing that time that what are the major impact already we got from the global scenario. Particularly that time it was the COVID time, and we found that particularly from the supply chain side, and which is coming from the freight, so the ocean going or either the truck, lorry, in all aspect, supply chain affected in the USA heavily. And what I understand now at the moment, so that time I can give you one example. When we are analyzing, we found the freight cost increased 563% from Amsterdam Dutch port to the USA port. That time I was talking about 1.5 years ago. And when I came to Bangladesh, so what I found, so all those COVID effect, Ukraine effect, and there's some other effect like the Indonesia. So what I understand that Indonesia also, they have some restrictions and something going on in the Indonesian oil market, and sometimes probably they ban the export. So all those affect altogether, I think, is a huge impact in the Bangladesh business. And in my perspective, if I can see that what we should do, because the demand is increasing in Bangladesh in the other side. If you can walk around everywhere, like the Dhanmondi, Gulshan, the restaurants business is increasing like crazy. So I did not see 10 years ago when I came back Bangladesh. So the behavior, the pattern, the consumer, the market size increase a lot. In other side also, not only the restaurant business, but the people's also becoming very busy. People's Now, there's another main factors to this growth is increasing demand of convenience food and the cooking products. So people's becoming busier with the work and other obligation, they're turning to ready-to-eat meals, then cooking kits and other packaging foods. So that also is impacting in our country's market. So our Bangladesh market now also get ready, same like the Western market, because people are getting used to buy the packaging food. So what does it mean? It means in one side, market is increasing a lot. In other side, there's a huge gap of our the gap of demand. So we are importing a lot. So the government, my request to the government that we need to have a very balanced policy for the cooking well, because we cannot ignore import, and we also need to promote to the local producer to produce, and that local producer now they started to producing, but it will take time. So we cannot also penalize the importers, so that the policy should be balanced, that we should also give a good incentive for the importer as well, so they can probably we can give a good incentive to the seeds, not only the oil, but in other side, because healthy habit is also increasing. So people's now buying more like a olive oil. So they are importing olive oil, and in the local sides the mustard oil, that demand also increasing. So we can, the government side, we should promote all those items to import, and that could be a good will give us a good pricing, and that price can little bit give a comfort to the consumer. So and the market could be a little bit stable in this way. So the conclusion remarks in that side, Mamun, that if government really can give a good plan for the import and as well as the local production to get a good price, because the freight, the supply chains also another big issues nowadays. So that they can subsidize, and when the demand is increasing, the government, the NBR also get some revenue with the scaling of the quantity, and we people, we consumer also can get a good price. Thank you.
Thank you, Nazrul Bhai, in pointing out some key elements, including the role of the NBR. So we'll come back with like tax issues, but before that, we are very delighted to have one academic and economist who have their unique lens to see the customer behavior and the market dynamic. So Dr. Sanjoy, we are very curious about to know in fact, two like relevant issues here. As Masud sir focused on a point, that is recently government has taken some initiatives for importing and providing the high yield mustard seeds. So, and in the last season, you probably know that like there was a bumper production of the mustard seeds, and this is one of the policy outcome of the government for reducing the dependency on the global market. So how this is one of the initiatives, but in addition, the market mechanism, like our keynote speaker also mentioned, the concept paper highlighted that it confined to only 6 suppliers, 6 major suppliers, local suppliers or like wholesalers. So what is your opinion or insights in that cases, how government, in addition to increasing the local like seed production, like mustard seed, as well as promoting the rice bran oil production, reducing the dependency in the global market, as well as what additional policy initiatives government might take or government can take in future for for strengthening the discipline in the market or market mechanism? Yeah. So could you please, yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed, for your welcome speech and introduction. First of all, I would like to thank BDRL for offering me and inviting me to this webinar, and welcome everyone to this webinar. Yeah, I'm last half an hour, I'm listening what the concept paper and the other speakers are telling about the market situation of edible oil nowadays in Bangladesh and in overall over the world. The thing is that our Masood sir, what he said, that our domestic production, one thing is that we have to, if the according to economic theory, the crisis can happen due to two reasons. One is if the demand is increasing, or if the supply shortage can take place. So yeah, it's true that from 2021, end of 2021, the Ukraine war started, and then not only in Bangladesh, all over the world, the supply of edible oil crisis started. After that, we saw that the war is cooling down, and the price, once in January 2021, it was that 150 per liter, 150 taka per liter. Then it went up to more than 200 taka in the middle of 2022. Then it goes down again a little bit. The thing is that what, first of all, the causes, the previous two speakers explains a lot about the causes. Cause, to me, the major cause is that the major reason is that no reason. Why no reason? Because you can see that supply shortage, it's true, but when the supply started to increase, still our price, our edible oil price does not started to goes down. The thing is that here is the problem. There are many kinds of problem, many spheres of problem. The problem is in the intermediaries. We have a lot of intermediaries. That's why when importer imported the edible oil, and when the retailers sell, there is a lot of intermediaries between them. That's why the consumer buys it at a high price. This is one shortage, one problems. We have exchange rate problems all over the world. We have exchange rate problem not only in Bangladesh. We have dollar crisis, it's true. We have LC crisis, it's everything is true. But every Bangladeshi can believe that there is some artificial crisis. We don't know who is drawing this crisis, who is making this crisis, but this crisis is taking place now. To me, the first we have to focus on to solve this domestic problem, this artificial crisis. How to solve this artificial crisis? We have to, the government, what can do? Government can do, yes, government can increase local production, government reaching a highest peak of the seed production. It's okay, it's good. But government have to monitor, government have to monitor the local market. Government have to monitor the importers and the number of intermediaries between them. Government have introduced the TCB shops. They are selling, I think, 150 taka per liter soybean oil. But government have to increase their local administration activities like mobile courts. We know there are a lot of mobile courts. When Ukraine war started, when at that time in Bangladesh, the edible oil prices increased a lot, but government take many initiatives to calm it down, but there is some shortage. Even also the NBR also said that they don't have enough employees to monitor the whole Bangladesh. If they can do it, maybe more initiative can be taken, and they can help government to reduce the price. So my suggestion is that the government have to increase local production by giving many encouragement, many initiatives or subsidies or incentives to the domestic producers. And at the same time, government have to monitor the market very carefully, not only the domestic market, but also the international market. Sometimes we saw in the newspaper, I don't know if it's true or not, that the our importer, our retailer and are selling the edible oil at the market, who the price is higher than the world market price. This is something we cannot expect. Those type of things we have to consider carefully. And another thing is that now we have the Consumer Right Protection Department. We have to increase the activities of this department. Then another thing that we can do that when when government are taking a lot of initiatives, but still it doesn't work properly, then we, the consumers, have to be cautious. And we have to be sincere to observe the market, that why the edible oil, like mainly soybean oil, why the price is increasing. What we can do, we can reduce the consumption, part of the consumption of this edible oil, or we can move to use of another kind of edible oil, because we see that we are importing mainly two types of things, two types of edible oil, like soybean oil and palm oil. But you see that from 2021, when there is a lot of talk about the Ukraine war, that the world market in the all over the world, and also in Bangladesh, the pioneer cause of increasing edible oil price is the Ukraine war. But you see that the concept paper, that we are importing soybean oil, and the main exporter of soybean oil is the South American countries, not the Ukraine or Russia. So it's not only the Ukraine war is the cause. Is the cause is that our local systems, we have to clarify clarify the whole system of the importing and between the intermediaries, and how the importer will import, and how the intermediaries will take their initiatives to reach the edible oil from importer to retail shops. And the monitoring department, all the monitoring departments like NBR and other government consumer related, all the departments should take their initiatives to handle this edible oil market. Now the good news is that now the price goes down due to a lot of initiatives taken by the government. But you see that the price goes down only like 10 rupees. But if you see in the world market, the price went down like 30%. But in Bangladesh, it went down only 5% or 7%. So as our edible oil market is completely dependent on import, so there is no other way but to increase the domestic production in any way. There is no other way. This is perfectly true. But at the same time, we have to ensure, as long as we are not self-dependent in the production of edible oil, we have to be very cautious. We have to be accountable and clarify the whole process of this edible oil market, how the consumers can reduce their pain to buy this edible oil, because edible oil is our daily necessities. We cannot like live without this edible oil. So it is our daily necessities, everyday part, cooking part. So we have to be very sincere, and we have to take care of this market very carefully. And also all the private organizations, importers, and also consumers should help government to reduce the tensions of this edible oil market, so that we will all happily can buy this edible oil at the at the the price that we can expect. So that now it is the Ramadan, and all the last 1.5 year, almost all the price of all the daily necessities are increasing. So this is one good news, that the edible oil price remain stable. We hope that the price will remain stable in the next few months or few years, so that the consumers get the pitch. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for covering all the market mechanism and the instruments you have shared. And at this stage, may I request Masud sir to highlight one aspect, that is the ethical role of the local entrepreneurs who engaging in the essential goods. As we know that, like essential goods is price and supply, directly affects the majority of the people of any country. And Bangladesh is a hugely populated country. So more than 160 million people are affected and very sensitive. Their life is very sensitive. Their living is very sensitive to the essential price. So in that case, how ethical the local entrepreneur or local companies or local suppliers of the essential goods should be to not only earn their profit, but also create the positive impact on the life of people, which may also sustain their business as well. So what should be their role in this respect?
Thank you very much. My answer is going to be very, very short on this one. Like somebody said that he went to the Western world, he saw Islam there, but less Muslims. In Bangladesh, we have a lot of Muslims, but unfortunately, the practice of Islam is really very negligible. In the West, we see that whenever a festival comes, even Ramadan, for example, let's say, people give huge discounts, actually, in fact, that to buy the products, to make the products affordable for the people who cannot afford them, actually. Unfortunately, in Bangladesh, we don't see this syndrome, but it's just the opposite, because our traders, our manufacturers, they know that there's going to be a supply side shortage. Demand is going to go up, supply is not going to increase that much. So the prices will go up. And unfortunately, the prices are increased quite a lot. So this is an ethical dilemma that we face in Bangladesh. And this is something that every individual, if they really believe that their own religion, Islam, actually, in fact, what Islam is talking about in terms of the ethical standards, in terms of fairness and equity, are we doing that actually, in fact? In tomorrow, everybody will pass on from this world. In that case, what do we tell our creator actually, in fact, what we have done? So I fully agree with you that if these ethical standards are followed, a lot of these problems will go away. Even this, this hoarding from time to time, whenever a shortage takes place, and this hoarding syndrome takes place. Why? Because they're trying to increase the price. So this ethical standard is very important in Bangladesh context, especially I would say, because with this, a lot of our problems will disappear actually. That's my short answer. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And Nazmul Bhai, would you like to, Nazmul Bhai, can you hear us? Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you like to focus on the role of particularly NBR and the tax structure of the essential goods, particularly the product like the cooking oil, which is substantially imported. So what should be the role of NBR in both the cases of putting the or setting the tax structure and levy structure, as well as like monitoring the tax and pricing. Maybe it's not a scope of the like pricing, but the tax elements which is transferred to the corporates who engage in this supply of the cooking oils in the local markets as well. So here, how do you assess the role of the NBR, which can effectively set the price or supply the goods with the fair price in the market?
Thank you, Mamun. If I could be NBR, like I'm considering NBR as a legal person. So, you know, as a whole one system, I should be very smart. How to generate our target is to number one target, how to generate the revenue. Number two, definitely there is also another very sensitive things about the cooking oil, because cooking oil is our day-to-day things, and we need to ensure the supply, and we also ensure the pricing. So considering all these together, all the component together in a one box, my suggestion to the NBR that there is because in any way the present tax structure, what is the one side, another side, there is a lot of expenses which is out of the box in the supply chain process, and that also indirectly adding the pricing. So, but the government is not getting that one. So ultimately that is wash out from the corporate field and is going to the unstructured markets. So ultimately the corporate is not getting that money, government is not getting the money. So if I could be the NBR, so the system, the duty structure should be very smooth. We should reduce the duty structure. And there are a couple of things, Mamun. I know there are a lot of multinational companies. They are having like 300, 400 legal cases with the NBR. Why? Because the multinational company, they cannot do whatever they in a Bangladeshi way, and they go to the legal field to fight with the NBR. So in that case also NBR losing money. So why multinationals going to the legal field? Because they need something what NBR cannot provide. So in that case, with the NBR and the Foreign Chamber of Commerce all together, they need to see it, and they should set up a policy, not only the multinational company. Because why I'm saying multinational company, because they have some sort of like a very good strong ethics, which is coming from the global side. And I'm not saying that the local company, they're not considering all these social thing. They're also considering. So my suggestion that NBR could earn more money by restructuring, reform the duty structure, and reform the whole the structure of a VAT system and the whole structures of the custom systems together with the business community. So, and what should be the tools? And the tools is very simple. Everybody know what should be the right structure. And I know that the Foreign Chamber of Commerce several times submits those proposals to the NBR, and they have that data. So if they can really respect and honor those data and honors all the demands, what they already received several years, and make a balanced structures. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. The role and the collaboration between NBR and the business community and entrepreneurs and other stakeholders of the business community. And we have observed that like the collaboration, seeding, discussion, dialogue have been increased over the years, but it should be faster as well to bring the solution, to come up with the a stable market. So thank you, Nazmul Bhai, for your inputs. So the final comments from Dr. Sanjoy, that if we see the case of the master seed, for example. So Dr. Sanjoy, can you hear us? Hello.
ওনাকে একটু আনমিউট করতে হবে।
Yeah, Dr. Sanjoy, could you please unmute?
He is not there.
Okay. 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 So the last comment, I think, from any of the panelists can contribute. That's if we take the case of the master seed, like for increasing the local production. So here, the four industry or four ministry, in fact, is related. Like the agriculture ministry should supply the seeds and other supports, and finance ministry should give the financing support to the agricultural loan and other things. On the other hand, industry ministry can promote the or giving all policy support for manufacturer, and definitely commerce ministry should monitor the market of the essential goods. So yes, we got Dr. Sanjoy. So the coordination among the is an inter-ministry coordination and the policy coordination and the support. So how do you recommend or suggest that this coordination can be expedited for increasing our local cooking oil production and minimizing our dependency in the international market?
First of all, coordination. Well, coordination the main coordination. The problem of coordination is the monitoring. Now the coordination stakeholders will be the government, the importers, the intermediaries, the retailers, and the consumers. Now, how do you coordinate all those stakeholders together? This is a huge issue. This is a huge issue not only in case of edible oil, but also in many other cases, especially foodstuffs. The government have to take the first initiative. Government have to engage the private organizations, like many government can welcome many NGOs or other stakeholders to come and join with government to monitor the market. Government can also invite the importers associations or importers group, those who are engaged with these activities. They can also help government to monitor the market, and not only the market, the whole situations actually, at the retail level, at the consumer level, whole things together. This is the main issue. And there is also some coordination issue is like that our exchange rate crisis. This is also a big problem so far. The exchange rate issue is the pioneer problem so far last 2 or 3 years for Bangladesh, due to the dollar crisis, Ukraine war, or some other causes. Now that's why our Bangladeshi taka is devaluating continuously. So government in these cases, government now sir, we heard from the Masood sir that our LC cause the dollar exchange rate is like 107. So government can try to interfere the exchange rate market to manage the exchange rate with dollar, between dollar and the taka a little bit, so that the market can make more stable. And the and the other part is the consumer. I said earlier also that the consumer should be more cautious. Sometimes, we can shift like tea and coffee. If the tea price increases, we can shift to coffee for a little while. So this way we can shift our choice of eating, choice of edible oil from soybean to others, where the import market is more available for Bangladesh. This is the way we can coordinate, or we can manage our edible oil crisis so far, according to me.
So thank you, Dr. Sanjay. So Masud sir, like if you just makes your concluding remark for wrapping up today's discussion, please.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think almost all the points have been covered by all the speakers. So if you are talking about, let's say, controlling the prices, so as I said at the outset, the important thing is that we must at all costs increase domestic production. Because with the state of affairs that we see today in Bangladesh, especially with the dollar price, like some speakers said that international prices have come down, but in Bangladesh, the prices have not come down to that extent. Actually, the answer is very simple, because whereas the FOB price has come down, but the dollar devaluation has accelerated. As I said in my speech earlier, that the official dollar rate is now 107, but because banks cannot supply dollars, so sometimes they're charging as much as 113 to 114 to importers actually. And the trend is that it's going to devalue in future. So we must reduce our import dependence. This is very, very critical for us. The more we reduce, the more we are not at the vagaries of the Ukraine war, or the freight prices, or the FOB prices, or the dollar prices, or the customs duties. This is point number one. Point number two is that a lot of speakers have mentioned about the issue of internal control in the economy as far as the regulators are concerned. Very true. But again, at the same time, I would sort of caution by saying this, that we have seen in the past that this sort of moves took place. It is like the traffic week, we have a traffic week for 7 days, and at that time all the traffic moves with all the rules and regulations, but after that it is back to square one again actually, in fact. So the important thing is that this self-governance has to be improved. And how can we do that? I mentioned in my speech that the only way is to make sure that this supply is seamless, and government has to monitor the imports. Government has to beef up the TCB also, because we've seen in the past that whenever a crisis took place and TCB started importing, in that case, the prices went down. The market forces of demand and supply always works. We must always remember that actually. So no matter how much control we want to do, at the end of the day, it's the beauty of the market forces that will actually drive down prices. And if the government can ensure that the steady supply is there, and if suddenly they see that there's a shortage in terms of the supplies, they should supply import on their own through TCB, and the prices will automatically come down because the traders then have to sell. We have seen in the cases of onion also. In all the cases, this always works in a very good way actually, in fact. So I think, cooking oil, as we all know that, and also I forgot to mention that also, I feel that, gradually, this is a long-term thing I'm talking about, not short-term, that we have to do some education also amongst the consumers that, look, cooking oil is bad for health. Try to bake your products. That is very good for health. This is also a very important thing. Like, for example, Dr. Shetty said that all cooking oil is bad for health. There are some which are better, but all is bad for health. I think, we should start this education also amongst all the consumers that, look, guys, try to reduce your consumption of cooking oil because it is very bad for your health. It's going to clog your arteries, actually, in fact. So these issues also, I think, this education to start is not a short-term thing. It's a long-term thing. But in the long term, if you do this education, I think gradually the people will understand and the demerits of using cooking oil and try to go towards making big products. Like for example, I mentioned about USA having only 7.8 kilograms per person per capita, 7.8, and ours is 25 kilograms. So our cooking habits should also change. That is my final submission as well. Thank you very much, Mamoon.
Thank you, sir. And thank you all the panelists, Nazmul Bhai, Dr. Sanjoy, for managing your time. Today is a holiday, but you have managed your time. We are really grateful to you and excited to listen from you. I believe that all the participants have been enlightened from your valuable inputs, and all of my colleagues and the participants for your valuable participation, and a special thank you to Riddhi for your excellent effort to come up with the articulated concept paper, and the Bari Bhai for playing the role as an MC. Thank you very much, everyone.